No ID is meant for a sane audience. No ID may contain liberty-oriented content. Pinko discretion is advised. Now, here's No ID with Paul Banducci and Scott Moskowitz.
Oh, I might have to change that intro to Prison Paul Banducci, but the rest is correct. It is No ID, Idaho's mainstream media deconstruction. I'm Scott.
You know, you go to jail 2 times, and all of a sudden, everybody's got a reputation for you. I see how it is. I'm just not going to let that one go. Hello, Internet. I'm Paul. Hair plug, Prison Paul. And what a glorious day we have in front of us, huh, Scott?
Well,
what you got lined up for us? I'm excited. You said you got some pretty shiny, saucy stuff to talk about. Spicy, too.
glorious is not the word that immediately comes to mind. This has been a strange few days, I suppose, for Idaho. I mean, we have multiple events, stories in the international coverage milieu. For one, the shooting down at the brand new In-N-Out in Twin Falls. Mm-hmm. That's international news. And the wildfires in Spokane, just a stone's throw from us up here in the Panhandle, and the smoke from it all is just completely blanketing. I mean, really, like half of North America, but definitely us here in North Idaho. So, and that's international news too. So, I had to actually sort through to make sure that I wasn't pulling stuff mostly from ABC, NBC, because there were Australia. I mean, you could find an endless amount of mainstream media sources for these stories. Unlike normal, we're normally pulling on this hyper-local revolution show from all of the network affiliates and NPR and et cetera, but all of their affiliates for Idaho. In this case, the sources were endless.
Well, Scott, you wouldn't have had that problem if you checked your messenger once in a while. I sent you hyper-local articles and you just ignored them all.
Yeah.
So our dear listeners / executive producers / producers, this is Scott's fault. I sent him articles. He just ignores me. And ever since word got out that I went to prison, Scott just sees me as a second-class citizen. I'm picking up what you're throwing down here, Scott. That's okay. So I'm going to keep sending them to you.
I'm supposed to be a known associate of Paul Michael Banducci. No, thanks.
Hard pass. It's fine. I don't want you as a known associate. I don't even know you.
It's my fault for sure. It's not my Facebook account. I'm just not a social media guy. And
it's true. It feels really weird that I send his wife. I send articles about politics to Danica Kramer, and it feels weird.
Yeah.
I've never messaged somebody's it's the only time that you would ever message somebody's wife as much as I do. And it's not for having an affair. It's straight up just like, here's Idaho politics. And then when Danica messages me back, but I know it's Scott, it's even weirder because I'm looking at Danica's profile picture on the messenger, but it's Scott being like, yeah, bro, this stuff is messed up. Like, man, Danica, you sure sound a lot like a man. This is weird.
Sliding into somebody else's wife's DMs is exactly something that Paul Michael Banducci would do.
Yeah, but Paul Michael Banducci was invited because it sounds like something that Scott from California would invite me to.
Oh, sure, invited. Yeah, she was asking for it. She wanted the messages.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the messages.
Okay, so where do we even start here? The two dominating stories as I look out the window at the horrendously orange, hazy garbage that is the sky.
I got blue skies up here.
Do you really? Oh, wow. Do you really?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I mean, there's some smoke in the air for sure, but it's not. Hell, man, life goes on for me up here. So,
well, okay, maybe
to be you, townies.
Maybe I'm overstating the case. I mean, I was saying it's blanketing the Panhandle. From the fire maps I was looking at, it looked like it was, but you're reporting up in Clark Fork that it hasn't. Is it slightly hazy or is it just totally clear up there?
Very slightly hazy, mostly clear. But that's changed. A couple, was it just yesterday? Might have been even just yesterday. Smoke was pretty heavy. And the day before it was pretty heavy. So I think it's just, anyway, the wind blows. We never know. Because the weather comes off the lake for us. And then we're in this little valley. So we don't get the northerly winds, which is super nice, especially during the winter. And we don't get the hard hitting stuff that comes off of Lake Pend Oreille. We just kind of catch the edges of it. We're in it's our own little world up here. I love it. That's why I never leave.
Yeah, fair. Well, let's
try not to leave.
Hear some of the coverage of it. I mean, obviously, smoke in the air is the if you're going to have problems from the fires, you should hope for that as opposed to being some of the many families whose lives have been greatly affected. I was thinking about that a lot in the last few days. How many people's lives have been turned upside down in the last couple days?
Yeah.
And, their lives will never be the same. And if smoke in the air is the least of our problems. But here is, let's start with KTVB.
Up in Washington, families are anxious to see what might be left of their homes right now as firefighters continue battling flames all across Spokane. King 5's Alex McClune is live with the latest damage estimate, the worst that Spokane has ever seen.
Yeah, Justin, this is one of the hardest things I've ever seen. Take a look around, and I can tell you these 3 homes are some of the 700 structures that have been damaged, and the families who lived here are among the 67,000 forced to evacuate. Meanwhile, just across the street, neighbors are grateful they have a much smaller mess to deal with. People are returning to the edge of evacuation zones throughout Spokane, grateful to see their homes still standing. Across the city, we've seen National Guard troops trying to keep people out of these areas. The fires are still active and uncontained. Crews are going neighborhood to neighborhood and even using satellites to bring the scope of this damage into focus. Officials believe a more thorough assessment could find about 1,100 damaged structures.
I've been to a lot of places around the world, not so good places around the world, and I can tell you today that that's a war zone.
We've lived here a long time, and we've never seen anything to this magnitude. Firestorm in '91 was a monster.
We were able to access this neighborhood without seeing a police blockade. People here we've seen firefighters coming through. People are asked to stay away as those crews assess damage, put out hot spots. Those same firefighters are staying in places like hotels, but also high school gymnasiums and even tents pitched in the ball fields. Live in Spokane, I'm Alex McClune.
So some pretty serious language there. It's the worst Spokane has ever seen. And I'm not, obviously there's, some terrible destruction. I'm not sure what metric one would use to make a determination like that. Property damage numbers or acreage. I couldn't really determine.
Usually we're dealing with like blizzards or ice storms or things like that. So a big old fire that knocks a bunch of stuff out. That's a little different. There's not a whole lot to compare it to, I don't think, in Spokane's history. There's been a few fires here and there, but nothing quite like this. So yeah, it is a bummer. I think there are a lot of people who were affected. I know at one point I heard there was, it was like somewhere between 40 and 60,000 people they had evac'd, which did kind of make me wonder where they all went. Where do you put them all? Where do they go?
Good question. Hopefully most
war zone's kind of an interesting way to put it, though. I'm sure it looks like a war zone because, if you've seen places that have been bombed out or, firebombed or whatnot, then yeah, you could see that. I mean,
hopefully most people have friends, family, places to go that is not, I'm saying that they just they can lean on their connections. Hopefully. I mean, that's, if that befell you or befell me, that's where we would go. Let's hope that that's where most people have to go.
Yeah, well, in December, we had a very different thing happen to us, which was, it was a flood. So are we living in the end times, Scott? Fires, floods?
God,
yeah, man, I'm sure
it's hard not to feel like
people feel like it. Yeah. Ours didn't affect as big of an area, though. For the flood really just affected our valley. So, probably 1,000 people when it was all said and done. So the scale is not even close. And a couple people had their homes washed out a little bit, but nothing got completely destroyed or anything like that. And we did lose our road for a spell, but overall, yeah, this they don't compare. But yeah, fires, floods, WTF. I will say, and this is, I've never been through the process, so obviously tongue in cheek here, and that's what we do on this podcast. But if you're gonna have your house be destroyed, it is definitely better for it to be fire instead of flood, because what isn't covered in like any insurance policies unless you buy the extra shit? Water. But it is covered in every single policy, like regardless of anything. Fire. Like fire is like the only thing you do get paid on.
Yeah.
When you lose a building. Seriously, like fire is the only one. I swear. That's why it's a go-to for people who don't want a building anymore. You don't flood the building. you burn it down.
Well, speaking of building and burning
in
things,
Minecraft, more life hacks from Prison Paul. How to commit insurance fraud.
Okay, this is sort of encapsulates all those things. Fraudulent buildings, burning. This was sent to me by Jess, and I'm gonna play it, and because I'd like to read how I responded. Anyway, here, let me just play this.
Because we created a petition and actually led a lot of advocacy relating to this data center being built. And it was supposed to have been built already about a year ago. And Washington State blocked them being able to build it and prevented them from building the data center. How convenient is it that now, in the same fucking area that they were going to build the data center up north, there's a huge fucking fire burning shit down? Do you know what eminent domain is? Eminent domain allows the state or the government to seize pieces.
Just quickly, just so you know, this is just an Instagram story that she sent me. So I don't know who this person is. It was just somebody speaking to their phone, some dude with a ponytail and tattoos. I don't know who it is, but it just the message that it was conveying.
Of land and repurpose
ponytail and tattoos sounds like somebody I know from other life experiences.
One of Prison Paul's cellmates.
Public use, but there are requirements that have to have been met in order for them to do this. Now, conveniently, if land is burnt and ravaged by a wildfire, private property, the government is then allowed to seize that land and use it to build data centers or whatever the fuck else they want to build. So yes, it is disturbingly fucking convenient. The timing of this combined with the fact that the petition that we led or that we did regarding the data center blocking it being built has been fucked with, and change.org has done their part in making sure that it didn't get publicity. You understand, there's all of these things combining to make the perfect fucking tragedy. Now there's a bunch of people without their homes in North Spokane, and I'm sure that within a year or two, there's going to be a new data center built over there, just like the shit that happened in California. To this, because
California and Hawaii, same stories, both spots. Super desirable land. Really hard to get anything done. Burn it all down, and then speaking of it being really hard to get things done, it's almost impossible to rebuild due to all the red tape. Bureaucracy basically just prohibits you from rebuilding your home in any sort of timely or affordable fashion. You're seeing it in California, you're seeing it in Hawaii. So then it does give the perfect opportunity for developers or other, corporations, companies, what have you, to come in and buy up burnt up land for pennies on the dollar and then do what they want to do with it.
Well, and
it is interesting.
In an extremely strange coincidence, I believe he was the chief of the Las Vegas police during the Las Vegas shooting in 2017. That was a very suspicious, and the mainstream narrative is completely wrong. I don't know what's right, but I know that's wrong. That same chief of police went on to become the chief of police in Maui right before the Maui fires. I don't remember the exact timeline, but I remember that when he left Vegas, he went to Maui, and then the Maui fire happened. This is all very suspicious stuff. Well, so along those lines, I just want to read what I replied when I was sent that, whatever you want, what is it, a reel, Instagram reel? Because obviously neither one of us knows, nobody knows what the hell, is it a coincidence? Does it have anything to do? Is there just fires every year? So let me just read what I wrote back. I said, it does seem convenient. On the one hand, it's easy to dismiss. Like, give me a break. There's wildfires every year. Everything is a conspiracy with you people. On the other hand, the state does have a long, rich history of pulling nefarious maneuvers to get its way. And it has contempt for the citizens who assert sovereignty and attempt to place limits on its power. So could it or would it pull something like this if some very high ups think that this is the way to make the, quote, data center, whatever that even is, politically feasible? Absolutely it would, and has done so over and over throughout all of history. So the thing is there's so many egregious examples of that sort of thing that the suspicion of guys like this that make these reels is richly deserved. Whether or not it actually is applicable in this situation or not, we don't know.
Well, you're right. We don't know yet. But the formula is pretty clear at this point. Just give it 10 or 20 years, and all of a sudden, somehow, some way, the documents will get leaked. intentionally or otherwise, and be like, oh yeah, no, that was us. We did that.
But it was for your safety.
Conspiracy theorists are like batting 1,000 right now, dude. We're batting 1,000. I don't think we've missed in the last 20 years on all the stuff we've talked about for covering the last 80 years. Open up the file cabinet and just start flipping through the files. Operation Northwoods, Mockingjay, Tuskegee experiment, MK Ultra. It's go just Greenleaf. Just go on down the line. Fast and Furious.
The Gulf of Tonkin.
And the Gulf of Tonkin, which actually, funny you mentioned that. I just got an email about that just this week, about the auspices under which we went to war were mostly false. Yeah, attacks that they said happened didn't actually happen. But President Johnson wasn't going to let that stand in the way of starting the Vietnam War. Well, excuse me, it wasn't a war. Congress never actually declared war, did they? It was a policing action. Oh, man, the more you know. Basically, whatever you think the government is capable of doing to us, multiply it times 10. They've done it already. They'll do it again. And what's wild to me is that when we watch movies, like we'll watch movies about all this kind of stuff, or we'll read books, or, you'll watch The Hunger Games, or you watch Star Wars, or you watch all these different types, this type of stuff, people versus their government. And every single time we're all, we find ourselves rooting for the little guys, but then people put down the book or they turn off the TV, walk outside, and they're like, yeah, but if it wasn't for the government, it would just be anarchy.
We wouldn't
Society
have
would collapse.
Roads. There'd be no roads. There'd be no schools. There would be nothing.
We wouldn't be able to do anything.
Nothing.
Yeah, people turn off their TVs and root for the bad guys. They turn on their TVs and root for the little guys. It blows me away. Yeah. Outside, we're the conspiracy theorists. Turn on the TV and all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, I could totally see this being a thing. Blows my mind.
So
it'll be interesting to see how easily these Spokanites are able to rebuild. That'll be worth watching.
Yeah, you can still see some of Adam Carolla's vlogs from the Malibu, which has been a year and a half, almost coming up on 2 years now. And he's like sort of documenting some of the rebuilding efforts, quote unquote, along Pacific Coast Highway and in the Palisades, and just the snail's pace and the ridiculous price tags that are attached to these projects, because only the extremely wealthy and extremely determined can actually wade through the sea of bribes. Oh, excuse me. I mean, fees that must be paid to the various agencies. They're like $3 million in to get their foundation done. That's not an exaggeration.
Yeah. It's all government red tape and bureaucracy. It is exclusively government red tape and bureaucracy that is the issue here. And everybody knows it. And what's changing? Nothing.
Nerfing. Okay, let me pull this up.
We're the crazy ones.
Of course we are. We always do, because we love potholes and we hate edumacation. Here is a video that was sent. This link was sent to me. I didn't get a chance. I'm raw dogging it. I'm just doing this live. I didn't get a chance to look at this or put it into a waveform or edit it. I'm just going to pull it up on YouTube. This was sent to me by Sir Ducifer.
Do you have any information in regards to the fires in Spokane? Well, we have metal mailboxes that have melted, but yet the Amazon Prime package inside is still there untouched. It just so happens that Spokane, Washington is part of the 2030 agenda for smart cities and is listed right here on the map. You can also see that this level 3 Old Trails fire is rolling up on the neck of the woods of West Plain, right where the data center is scheduled to go. People are asking questions as to why the trees are still standing all over the place and the metal has been melted in places, everything else destroyed. Again, houses, you can see here, reminds me of the Paradise Palisades, where the houses are burned down and the trees around them still standing, and you've got things melted down. Like this vehicle getting torched and it being hot enough to melt aluminum and glass, but
that's
not
pretty
hot enough to burn up the grass and the shrubbery right next to it. A lot of odd things start to stand out. Another one here, as you can see, this place completely torched, glass melted, everything else, but the trash cans just a few.
Okay, it goes on. But, okay, so I know what he's getting at, which is that he's saying, well, it reminds him a lot of the catastrophic fires in Paradise in 2018 and in Maui in 2023, and that these were suspicious too. See, now this stuff is just so easy to dismiss, including in my own head. Like, I'm working through this in real time here. Well, there's all this infrastructure. Millions of people are building into areas that would have just been a wildfire in a forest, but now it's a subdivision. And there's been all the century of fire suppression, so that when they do happen, there's all this extra brush and kindling that wasn't there before, or has been artificially allowed to whatever. And so now the fires are much more intense and hot. There's like a million reasons I can see why somebody would very dismissively scoff at any of the, and it's just like, you guys are just, everything's a conspiracy. You guys are ridiculous. On the other hand, I've just witnessed too much malevolence from officialdom and a willingness to sort of do anything to get to whatever ends whoever the reptiles want to get to. So I hate to be so cynical or assume that everything is something, but man, I don't know what to think when I see stuff like this.
Well, there is a difference between lobbying accusations, which we haven't done yet, or if we have, when we do, typically it is tongue-in-cheek unless we know for sure, and noticing patterns. Noticing pattern, being a noticer, we live in an age where being a noticer still gets you in trouble because it's not politically correct. So noticing statistics, like crime statistics, gets you in trouble. Noticing patterns of behavior gets you in trouble. Noticing patterns that are geographic or catastrophic patterns of catastrophe. That's all we're doing. We're just noticing. It's formulaic. So you notice. If you pay attention, it's hard not to notice. But being a noticer is not popular in the mainstream. It gets you labeled a conspiracy theorist. But, all we're doing is going, well, we've seen this before. It matches the pattern. We also, once you have a grasp on how humanity works in general and how the state works against humanity, it's hard not to make the leap. And history is a great teacher too. If you again have any sense of history at all, of just what the American government has done over the last century, oh my gosh, it's blood-curdling stuff. So it all starts adding up. Puzzle pieces that form a picture as a whole. And at the very least, we're going to look at it, put some of the puzzle pieces in place and go, this is familiar. I wonder. I have written down Patterns of Catastrophe as a potential show title. It might be a little dark, but It might be appropriate for the crap show that is unfolding on this program. And of course, in Washington and Idaho currently. Let me just I'm going to play the next clip here about the potential origin, or it seems like maybe they're sure, or at least they're telling us they're sure the origin of the fire. Before I do that, I want to reiterate just for my own edification. So let's use the robot here. As concisely as possible, tell me about the timeline and the connection of the Las Vegas shooting police chief and then the Maui police chief, or being the same guy or something.
Checking that now. Hang on. So, timeline. The key figure is John Pelletier. He was a captain with Las Vegas Metro during the 2017 Route 91 shooting, not the top chief. He later became Maui police chief in 2021 and was in that role during the 2023 Lahaina fires. The connection people talk about is basically just him being present in leadership roles during two major tragedies. There's no verified evidence that it's more than that.
Sure, there's not.
Oh.
Okay, well, there you go.
Oh, okay. Did you ask Chauncey? Is that the deal? You asked ChatGPT?
Yeah.
And it adds its own commentary.
Oh, yeah, no,
nothing
to see here, citizen. Nothing to see here.
Pure coincidence. Pure coincidence.
Okay. He's the chief of police in Maui. He was high-ranking in Las Vegas Metro and then chief of police in Maui. So do with that information what you will. Here is information with regard to the origin of at least one of these fires, according to the mainstream at this exact moment.
I just received new court documents from the state of Arizona detailing the criminal history of 37-year-old Aaron Farinacci. He's the man accused of starting one of the most destructive wildfires in Spokane history, forcing thousands to evacuate. Records show 14 years ago, Aaron Farinacci was convicted for manslaughter and aggravated assault after killing his own father in 2010 after an argument between the two over cleaning the dishes. So Farinacci...
This isn't clean. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Stabbed to death.
2010 after an argument between the two over cleaning the dishes. So Farinacci...
I'll let that sink in for a second.
How is this dude out of prison?
He murdered his dad and then got out of prison after his 12-year sentence. He pled down to manslaughter, presumably. Okay.
It was an accident.
I slipped and repeatedly thrust the knife into him. Yikes.
How is this guy out of prison? I'm just going to ask that question again.
Yeah, well, he was seen hanging out on the Boise Greenbelt and smoking fentanyl with Ross Wardlaw last week, and then this week he was seen in Spokane.
Argument between the two over cleaning the dishes. So Farinacci was released from prison in 2020 after serving a 12-year sentence, and then he was discharged from probation in December of 2024. He's currently being held on a $1 million bond and is expected to make his first court appearance later today.
Now, wasn't there a mass, I can't even remember anymore. Was there a mass letting out of inmates in 2020, with the mass psychosis? I seem to remember them releasing a bunch of people who, do you know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
What am I remembering?
Here,
do you remember?
As much as it happened, it happened in California, big time. They emptied out the prisons and jails in California, man. Yeah, that made headlines. They let a lot of really bad people go to make room for who they were gonna arrest if they violated COVID restrictions.
That was the premise, really?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Let's ask the robot. What was what am I remembering about a lot of people being let out of prison in 2020 due to COVID?
You're probably remembering a mix of policies. During COVID, many jails released people awaiting trial for non-violent offences, and some states gave early release to inmates near the end of their sentences. It definitely happened, but it wasn't a blanket nationwide release. Crime impacts are debated, but most research suggests those releases were not a major cause of later crime.
Yeah, no, of course they weren't. Thank you so very deeply for your commentary on that. So I can't help but wonder if
thought Chauncey was going to replace me.
If I ever need a statist on the show, our robot is a statist. So
we got it.
Yeah,
we already got him. Yep.
It's like, was this dude one of them, or did he only get a 12-year sentence because he pled down?
Chauncey, do you think releasing prisoners out of prison increased the crime rates?
No.
There's no connection.
No connection. Next.
You shout like that, they put you in jail.
All right. I have one more on the fires just from the straight up mainstream, but maybe we should just move on. I feel like maybe it's enough already.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I think if that data center does go up, which I'm not blanket opposed to data centers, by the way. I am not blindly opposed to them. There's things to consider. There's the pros, there's cons. I know right now it's pretty it's in vogue to be opposed to data centers because of my water. But the more research you actually do on the topic, the less threatening and scary data centers actually are in certain ways. So I'm neutral on the topic. And I'm a property rights guy. So if you own the property, you want to build a data center, well then fuck off everyone else. They can build a data center. You buy the property then if you don't want them to do it. But I think what we're going to see here is residents not being able to rebuild, and the data centers might go in anyways, and things will change, and people will wring their hands about it, but they won't do anything about it.
All right. Do you want to hear this one more fire clip from Creme Channel 2, or should we move on?
Sure, let's do it.
All right.
We just got some new video from a viewer, and it may be disturbing to see. This is Catherine Street near Francis and Northwest Terrace below the Nom Nom, and a lot of people wanted to know what this area looked like.
Below the Nom Nom?
I know of all the things to use as your landmark, you had to use the silliest sounding and this very serious, the most serious Spokane has ever. Anyway, it's right below the Nom Nom.
This is going to be very disturbing. Check out this nom nom.
Nom nom.
You can see the devastation there. Homes burned down to the ground. Really devastating. And gosh, this is just another vantage point of all these videos and pictures we're getting in showing what neighborhoods look like as the sun rises this morning. Still a dark.
But is the nom nom okay?
Thick plume of smoke over this area, and you could see some of those homes still smoldering. Not only here in Spokane County, wildfires are burning all across the state, and new ones sparked up yesterday. And we're continuing to track the Moderate fire burning on the Colville Reservation near Inchelium. That fire has burned nearly 50,000 acres and is 19% contained this morning. Level 2 and 3 evacuation orders are still in effect for most of the area. We also want to get you an update here on the Espanola fire. This one is burning in Airway Heights near Fairchild Air Force Base.
Is that in Mexico?
You would think it's like down near Zihuatanejo, but actually it's right near where you were born.
Near Fairchild Air Force Base. And in Idaho, the Upper Smith fire burning northwest of Bonners Ferry, still prompting a level 3 go now evacuation. The Boundary County Sheriff's Office says people in the west side and the Smith Creek zones need to leave now. The fires burned just under 2,200 acres and is 10% contained.
In any case, this is ongoing. The fires are still very much active, and we'll see what this week brings, and you'll hear more about it next week, surely.
Yeah. I do wonder how they caught the guy. Like, part of me thinks he's just the lackey or the stooge or the scapegoat, whatever you want to call it. Where they're like, they needed somebody.
A patsy.
So they're like, let's find this guy. Oh, there he is. Get him. It was him.
That message was also
He's
sent
a scumbag.
I also got that message too. Like, wouldn't this guy have been isn't he a perfect patsy?
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, of course it is.
Absolutely.
You know, he's
the guy you love to hate already. He's
correct.
the guy you love to hate. So now they can just crucify him.
And it's very good deflection because it makes everybody's brains just immediately go to anger and very focused on this individual. Why is he out? I can't believe he was out and able to set this fire. And then it just reinforces that it was this one individual, and this is where all the focus should be.
Yep, one person who may or may not have gotten paid to set that fire. But the narrative will be just some psychopath who should be in prison but wasn't, starting fires because, we don't know. Don't worry about that. But it's him. And no need to look at anything or anyone else. It's him. It's this guy.
This is the exact same structure now as we move on to the shooting at the brand new In-N-Out Burger down in Twin Falls in southern Idaho. It was just
southern Idaho, South Idaho, by the way. It's not southern Idaho, it's South Idaho. Might as well be a different state. But South Idaho getting a real genuine taste of California, aren't they? Shitty burgers and shootings.
We begin live in Twin Falls this morning.
Excuse me, wait a second. Did you just say shitty burgers?
I got him. Like you never heard that before.
In-N-Out, man. Full send.
We begin live in Twin Falls this morning. We're talking about the In-N-Out shooting. 4 people are dead, including the suspected gunman. 7 others hurt. People ran for their lives when those gunshots erupted at that new In-N-Out. It had only been open for a very short time. Twin Falls police say it started around 2:30 Saturday afternoon after 911 callers reported an active shooter. Investigators say the gunman seen here, 24-year-old Chad Williams, he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police believe he acted alone here. They're still working to pin down his motive. Abby,
just
live
one
in Twin
guy.
It's just
Chad
this one
Williams.
guy, Chad Williams.
Whitest name you've ever heard decides to shoot up a burger joint. Okay.
His motive. Abby, live in Twin Falls at the In-N-Out, where we've learned more about some of the victims here. We really do want to keep the focus on them. And Abby, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Maggie, we're just now learning the name of the In-N-Out employee who worked at this In-N-Out. Her name was Ashley Garibay. Her family is remembering her as a bright light whose life was cut tragically short. They say Ashley loved working for In-N-Out and proudly traveled to open new stores. Her dream was to one day manage her own store. In a statement, her family describes Ashley as adventurous, outgoing, and always willing to help others. They thanked her fellow employees, first responders, and others who rush to her aid in final moments. They're asking for privacy as they mourn Ashley's loss. So we have been speaking to victims, families, and friends in the past few days to learn more about who they were and what they represented, especially being here from the Twin Falls community. We've chosen to release Ashley's name because her family sent us a statement, but we're waiting to release those other names until we ensure that all family members have been notified. We've also heard from the family of one man who was shot and is currently in the hospital. 39-year-old Stephen Pixley is currently at a Boise hospital after being caught in the shooting. His cousin tells us he was just riding his motorcycle in the area near In-N-Out when he heard a pop and realized he had been shot. The bullet tore through Pixley's arm, entering and exiting near his elbow. He's currently in the hospital where he had surgery yesterday.
So I thought they're about to give.
You're just riding your your dirt bike, or
yeah,
I think it was a motorcycle of some sort, right? Your dirt bike just nearby, and you get clipped. Yikes!
Yeah. Yep. So now they're about to put the camera and the microphone on this motorcycle dude's cousin, and this is sort of a weird. I mean, I don't know, for secondhand connection. I'm not sure why they chose to highlight this guy. Maybe it's because of what he said, but here it is.
As a Christian,
I have questions real fast, though. I have a couple of questions. Number one is, why didn't all of the flock cameras that are down there prevent this? I thought all the flock cameras were for our safety, right? So how come they didn't prevent this? And also, what a bummer to lose that young gal. It sounds like she was hardworking, career-minded, and I mean that's kind of cool to hear that she wanted to run her own store at one point. That's a bummer to lose her. Sorry, my dogs are barking at something. We might have a delivery right now.
I have a friend who worked at In-N-Out in high school, and it's been a long time since I've have been in touch with him, but all the way through his 20s, as far into like his 30s, he was still working there, and I believe he had become the general manager of a location, which my understanding is that's the dream for In-N-Out employees, because you get it's a great gig. It's high paying, it's great benefits. People work towards it. He worked towards it for like 15 years. For all I know, he's still there.
Yeah, I've heard that In-N-Out has a knack for people who have the drive. In-N-Out has the knack for holding on to them. I also do like how In-N-Out has pushed back against California's a lot of their bullshit anti-capitalism laws, their bad economic laws, their wage laws, their union laws, and In-N-Out always pushes back on it. They lose every time, but they usually have something to say, like, "Hey, the burgers are going to get more expensive again. Like, here are the numbers. Here's how reality works. This isn't great." California does it anyways. In-N-Out goes, "Okay."
Yeah, they're privately owned. They're the same family. The granddaughter of the original founders still is either the CEO or she's the owner, Lindsay Snyder. So it's family owned, and it is very much a non-commie and always has been. They've, they're famously printed Bible verses on the bottom of their cups for many years. I've always wondered why there has not been, to my knowledge, any sort of biopic or documentary or it's sort of dramatic, anything of the sort about the Snyder family, because their story is freaking nuts. Do you know anything about that family? Probably not.
No, not much. I just know enough about the company that every now and then they make some noise when California starts to do something stupid again. And I like that about them.
The original founders, Harry and Esther Snyder, were I think it was in the late 40s, and then when I might get some of these details not exactly right, but it's basically something like when Harry died, the control of the company did not go to the oldest son because he was kind of problematic. It went to the youngest son. And then the youngest son died in a small plane crash, and after many years. I mean, the backdrop of all this is the place just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding and making more and more and more and more money. I believe the stat is every year they've operated, they made more money than the previous year, and that has been true for every single year of its existence.
That's the dream. Good for them. Heck yeah.
The youngest son then takes over after the plane crash death of the older one. And then he runs it. I don't remember the exact timeline. It was many years. And then he dies of a heroin overdose. And then at that point, control goes back to...
Should have just stuck to the burgers, man.
Control. Well, they're sort of heroin, I'm addicted to them, The control at that point goes back to Esther, the patriarch, who at that point, I believe is in her 80s or 90s. She was old. And then when she died, the control went to Lindsay, the granddaughter, who I believe was only in her early 20s when that happened. And she still runs it to this day, but she has had like multiple kidnapping attempts. And anyway, there's just this insane family drama against the backdrop of this wildly successful institution. And it's just ripe for, it's like stranger than fiction, but there's really been sort of nothing along those lines that I've ever heard of or seen. Writes itself.
Man, well, I don't know. Thanks for that burger history lesson, though, Scott.
All right, here. Well,
your Californians really do go apeshit for In-N-Out, don't they? Like I don't know. I don't know the history of Zips. Zips is a Northwest institution, but I couldn't tell you the first thing about who owns Zips or anything like that. You Californians
Stuff's
are
not
different
nearly
breed.
as good. Yeah. Here is continuing on that clip that we paused for that aside. Here is the motorcycle randomly got shot. His cousin that KTVB featured in this clip.
As a Christian, I don't believe that this is a time to hate. It's okay to be angry. There is a lot of emotion. There's gonna be anger. There's gonna be hate. There's gonna be questions. Why in the world would somebody do? What can drive a 24-year-old in his life to where he would do something like this? I can't imagine the life that he went through to bring him to this. It doesn't justify it in any way, shape, or form. But it makes you wonder, what could bring somebody to do something like that? And that's the question I'm sure a lot of people are asking right now.
He says right now his cousin still can't really move his fingers, and doctors are doing all they can to help him get his mobility back.
Okay, so now let's move on here to...
Well, that was pretty gracious of a thing to say. Good on you, cousin of guy who got shot. For reals, good on you. That's a hard way to think about it.
Here, it's not where my mind goes. Perhaps he's a better man than I. Here is the press conference from the Twin Falls. Thank you so very deeply. Press conference from Twin Falls PD.
We're here today to provide
a very truncated version of it. I tried to keep it as short as possible.
We're here today to provide an initial update regarding the incident that occurred yesterday, Saturday, August 1st, 2026, in the area of In-N-Out.
This poor dude did you hear that deep sigh? That was him thinking to himself, I picked a hell of a day to quit drinking.
In review. Yesterday at 2:29 p.m., multiple 911 calls were received by the Twin Falls City Communications Center. Dispatchers could hear screaming and reports of gunshots in the background. Officers from our department, along with officers from local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, all converged to the incident. Fire and medical personnel from the Twin Falls Fire Department and Madge Valley paramedics also responded. First responders faced what was described as one of the most chaotic instances a law enforcement officer can face in their career. Law enforcement began to search for the suspect, as well as assisting medical personnel to the scene safely and providing first aid and transporting those in need to our local hospital. Our department has been in constant contact with the In-N-Out management, and they are actively assisting us in the investigation. At this time, we can confirm that there are multiple victims. Based on the information currently available, there are 3 victims that are deceased. 7 others are injured. 2 of those patients have been treated and released. 3 are in stable condition, and 2 are in critical condition. Now, we know there have been multiple comments online about multiple shooters. We can confirm that there was an off-duty state trooper and a citizen who actively engaged the suspect by returning gunfire towards him.
Yeah, that dude's been getting loads of attention. I even know his name, Jordan Salinas. I don't know. It's Mexican.
As far as I know. Yep.
But the dude looks like a badass, and of course, all of the more conservative outlets on the interwebs are turning him into a hero already, which it sounds like he probably deserves. He engaged with the active shooter, so we had 2 active shooters, but one guy trying to do the right thing, and it sounds like he didn't take him down though, but he did maybe save a few lives by diverting the guy's Chad's attention.
Yep,
and maybe letting people get the heck out of there. So good on him. Again, I'm going to ask, though. I thought the flock cameras were supposed to prevent this kind of stuff, right? Aren't they supposed to solve these crimes and prevent these mysteries, or solve these mysteries and prevent these crimes? Something like I'm just going to keep throwing that out there. If only we had more surveillance, this never would have happened. Also, if we had stricter gun laws, this probably never would have happened either. What do you think the odds are that Twin Falls leftists or Boise leftists bring that up? What's the countdown on that? 3, 2, 1. How many days until we hear about that?
Yeah,
it won't be about the mental health side of things. It'll be about gun control.
As far as I have seen, it hasn't happened.
Or if it is about the mental health, sorry, I apologize. If it is about the mental health, it'll be, we're going to hear Melissa Wintrow get on the horn and be like, you see, these cuts to Medicaid are killing people. Literally. If we hadn't cut 3% from Medicaid, then Chad, whatever the heck his last name was, wouldn't have done what he did.
If we all just pay our fair share, right? We
all just pay our fair share, put up more flock cameras, something like this would never happen.
Right.
Here is an intro. I'm going to, the rest of that press conference, I'm not going to play it. Here is the intro to the role that Mr. Salinas played in this.
Images from the scene are revealing this person, who we're learning is a Jordan Salinas, a bystander who drew his own weapon on the suspect, telling the Idaho statesman he had just pulled into the parking lot when he heard the gunfire, saying he felt no fear. Both him and an off-duty state trooper.
And Jordan immediately thought, I've been training my whole life for this moment.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. This guy had This guy has a YouTube channel and is very much a firearms and target training and practice. And he'll hear I have an interview with him that Good Morning America did. Now this is well, let me finish this clip.
Both him and an off-duty state trooper returned fire with the shooter. Police now hailing them as heroes.
Originally, the mainstream, like the first day that the story was breaking, was just saying like, all officers responded quickly, and they were not mentioning this guy at all, even though there was lots of videos of him, like bystander videos, like people shooting with their cell phones from their cars of what this guy had done. But now they've started to, which is a very
they have to.
Yeah, they have to. That's exactly right. They really have no choice. They would love to pretend like this didn't happen and there wasn't an armed civilian who took him out, or at least delayed the carnage. But they have to, because there's just too much groundswell and too much video and people talking about it. So that's what they're doing. And as such, Good Morning America actually sat down with the guy.
We're hearing from the man who fired back.
It was like a switch, like, okay, green light.
You said it's real now.
Yeah, like this is real, it's happening.
35-year-old Jordan Salinas tells me he and his girlfriend Emily had just pulled into the parking lot when the shooting began.
As soon as we pulled in, just a sea of people just flooding out of the building.
Yeah, we didn't know what was going on. We both thought it might have been a kitchen fire.
What's happening? What happened? What's happening?
Shoot. As hundreds ran for their lives through that crowded shopping center,
Everybody's running.
Jordan drew his semi-automatic pistol and went toward the danger, seen on video repeatedly firing at the shooter.
You were actively taking cover behind the in and out sign.
The biggest thing was just that he didn't know where I was. When those first shots broke at him, I mean, he had no idea.
You had said he didn't like the bullets going both ways.
No, he seemed unusually comfortable aiming that rifle at those cars.
Does anybody like the bullets going both ways? So I shot at him, and he didn't like it.
What?
Oh, wow. So you think it was the shooting at him that he didn't like? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It was.
See, what happened was he was
going
comfortable
in his direction that he didn't like.
He was comfortable when he was shooting, and then he was getting shot at, and suddenly he wasn't so comfortable.
Hey, he didn't like it.
He wasn't a fan.
Come on. Usually comfortable aiming that rifle at those cars, and then as soon as some rounds started coming at him, everything changed.
Authorities say an off-duty state trooper also took aim at the suspect, and the pair's heroic actions bought valuable time for people to flee. The motive for the shooting is still unclear. 7 people were injured, 3 more were killed. Among them, Christopher.
So they haven't found a manifesto yet? Or
no, but the chief of the Twin Falls Police, John Pelletier, released a public statement and said he misses Maui, but he loves living in Twin Falls. No, I don't. Yeah, who knows what they're going to find? If maybe nothing. You know, if they do find something, is it even going to be? Are we going to know what to believe then? I mean, well, I still won't. We still won't. Is it real? Is it an MK Ultra situation? Is it just a lone wolf? That there's just. There can never be answers to these things. And the skepticism and the suspicion on our part is richly deserved, whether or not it applies in this situation once again.
Well, it even goes back to what we were just mentioning with the Jordan Salinas guy. The mainstream media would not have touched him. They weren't planning on giving him any sort of attention at all. But the internet did what the internet does. Somebody screenshot the guy. It started circulating, and then a hero was born. And so the mainstream media they were strong-armed into having to be like, oh, okay, we should probably, somebody should probably talk to this guy. All right. And then, I could just see him in the back doing rock, paper, scissors. All right, Good Morning America, you got him. It's you. You get to do it.
See, what happened was the mainstream media was super comfortable when they were controlling the narrative just in one direction. But then when the internet fired back, suddenly they just weren't as comfortable. Everything changed.
Among them, Christopher Clark,
changed.
His sister telling the New York Times he'd lived in Idaho for 30 years and loved traveling, cooking, and the outdoors. And 23-year-old Ashley Garibai, who worked at the restaurant. The community in Twin Falls is devastated by the loss, but they're praising Jordan for helping save so many.
The investigators say that you probably saved a lot of lives.
My goal was to try to help as many people get home as possible, to be with their families, to be with their friends.
That was a good way to put it. I bet he rehearsed that, because really a guy like that, and in my mind, if I'm clear of thought while something like this is happening, my goal is to kill that motherfucker. And that's not tough talk. It's not like, if I'd been there, I would have iced the guy. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying, that's what would have been going through my mind. It's not like, I hope these people get home. It'd be like, I have to kill this fucker, and I hope I don't die while I'm doing it. Holy smokes.
Yeah, who knows what was really going on in
military would be like, my goal was to neutralize the threat.
Yeah, I mean,
this guy's answer is good.
Who knows what was really going on in his head in that exact moment? But now that he's had a chance to collect his thoughts, this is what he's just sort of portraying. I'm sure I would do the exact same sort of thing. It's because it just sounds way
it's
better.
Good. Whoever coached him, they did a good job. Because I'm sure somebody said, whatever you do, don't tell them that you were hoping to kill the guy.
Totally.
But know that most red-blooded American dudes who are gun guys, rightfully, and I'm not making fun of them, rightfully so. I agree. The thought isn't, man, I hope people get home. The thought is, I got to kill this motherfucker.
That was the entire goal.
And Jordan emphasized you don't need a weapon to be helpful in a situation like this. While, of course, he and that state trooper helped drive the suspect away, we also know that he said dozens of people sprung into action to get people to safety and to help with first aid, plus all the actions of the first responders. All of that together helped get a lot more people home safely, guys.
Yeah, it took a lot of people.
I mean,
happy Jordan.
I get, without a gun, what are you going to do? Use foul language?
Now go away or I shall taunt you a second time.
As opposed to, man, I sure hope I can help everyone get home to their family.
Well, I imagine this being like, he was pretty comfortable being the only one shooting. But when I stood up and started insulting him, he was pretty uncomfortable. He didn't like it when the insults flew his way.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody get Dan Gookin in the parking lot.
To start calling the guy names.
You're a pussy.
You're asking him, Chad, why are you pissing on me?
Why are you pissing on me?
This is a gun-free zone. Didn't you know that? The city council building is a gun-free zone. How did the gun even get in here?
I am the mayor.
And I say, stop shooting at me, you pussy.
You're a pussy.
No, we had to work Dan Gookin into that stupid.
I think we're a little sick in the head, but
yeah, we truly. And so if you want to support us value for value, because you're also sick, that's the model. No, that was a weird first segment. I mean, really, it's been a weird few days. So we're not really, of course, we're not making
this is
light
a tough
of
one, dude.
Yeah.
Well, man, the whole show is built on making light of everything we talk about and joking and stuff, and you made it really damn hard, you asshole.
It was impossible this time.
Downers.
It was just too much, too dense, too international. It could not be ignored, And so I just
they got to be mentioned.
Me.
So I guess I'm going to throw out a PSA to our executive producers.
And to all those affected, I want to say, we are deeply sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry.
We are sorry for how clunky this episode feels as we try to cover serious topics in a lighthearted way.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it is clunky. And maybe that's why Patterns of Catastrophe is still the number one contender here as the show title.
I'm feeling it.
And this show, where we try to think of fun and interesting titles for each episode, is a value for value show. No ID is a value for value proposition. And that means that we are an advertiser-free show. There are no sponsors. You'll not hear any ads. You'll not hear any live reads. No brands, no products to promote. Nothing of the sort. It's just straight value for value. As inspired by the mothership of No Agenda. And what that means is we try to put out value with each show that we do. And it's free, and it's just what it is. There's no paywalls, and there's no subscriber-only anything or exclusive conversations with Paul if you pay that. There's nothing like that. It's just the show. It comes out every Thursday, and we try to make it as viable as possible. What's that?
Exclusive conversations with Paul for an added fee.
So Paul's already reneging on the value for value. Once I bring up the sound of his own voice, he's
what are you talking about?
Ooh.
That is value for value. You pay me money, you get to hear my voice, and I probably will say interesting things. That's called capitalism, sir. That's just regular old trade. It's a great proposition. Value for value.
Sure. Just leave the money on the dresser.
I mean, what? I do need cab fare. I live an hour and a half out of town, so cab fare is appreciated. Now that's value for value.
If you find our program to be valuable, if you find our show to be a valuable addition to your week and it's something that you feel you are getting value from, we ask that you return value in the time and talent and treasure categories. There are many ways to return value. I haven't mentioned this in a couple of shows. Probably the number one time way that you can return value to our program at this time, at this juncture, is word of mouth. That is how shows like this grow. And I guess really anything. Word of mouth is the way true organic growth happens. Just straight up testimonials, lending your credibility to us by promoting and otherwise mentioning our show to your circles. Send people the link. Just keep us front of mind and mention us as something that somebody that you know might enjoy, or someone that you don't know. I don't know, stranger at a bar.
Tell your children, tell your grandparents in the nursing home. They have lots of time on their hands.
It helps us grow. It's a big value add to word of mouth, just to spread the word about No ID. And then there's also sending messages, which I got lots of this week. People texting these videos, these shorts, questions, answers, memes, all that stuff is greatly appreciated. And articles. I was also sent an article on Idaho being selected as a finalist for a new U.S. nuclear campus. We'll get to that in the second half of the show. That article was sent in by our anonymous boomer, which that's the way. That is all big value adds in the time category. So thank you very much. Now, on to the treasure portion of time, talent, and treasure. If you have no time and you're not talented, a great way to return value is treasure. As fast as our currency is losing value, it still has a little bit left. If you want to do not currency, by the way, if you want to do a barter of any sort, not barter, but returning value with treasure of non-currency, like ammunition or food or beverages or services, you have a good list. You can go on, give us a precious metals. What else?
Yeah, I mean, we're like crows. Anything shiny or edible, we're pretty stoked.
Yeah, and we remember faces. So
we do remember faces.
Don't think
you can train us to steal for you. We'll talk about that off show.
So making a treasure contribution, returning value with treasure, makes you an executive producer of No ID. Today is episode number 40. We're the big 4-0, and as of today, we're at the top of the hill, and starting next week, we will be over the hill.
Yay!
So we can see all the wildfires.
So do we die at like episode 95, Scott? Is that it? Do we like call it quits at episode 95?
95? That's a pretty good run.
It is a good run.
I don't know, 100 seems like a good number. I don't know. Let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay.
In the meantime, we have some executive producers to thank this week, and we have not one, but two cash donations that were handed to me in envelopes.
Ooh.
So that's
sexy.
Awesome. Let's start here with Flynner of the Findings, and this is cash money. It is $21 blackjack. And here's
winner, chicken dinner.
Flynner's note is written on...
winner, chicken Flynner.
Hey.
Yeah.
Nice.
Please continue.
The handwritten note from Flynner is as follows. Buzzkill Banducci and Crackpot Scott the Jew. This is just so you know. Buzzkill was the nickname of John C. Dvorak, and Crackpot is the nickname of Adam Curry. So
I love this already. I'm having a good time.
You are the Buzzkill, and I am the Crackpot. Okay, and then but in person, he said. By the way, he said, you're both. You're both Buzzkills and Crackpots. Thank you. Flynner says, thank you for No ID, the best podcast in the Northwest. Please accept this blackjack donation in recognition of the value you and your producers bring to the interwebs. Your deconstruction of the left coast dominated domination. What does that say? Your deconstruction of the left coast dominated, that is our local TV and newspapers, is sorely needed. My synopsis of St. Faustina is this. To us belongs the efforts, to him belongs the results. Thank you for your efforts. From Flynner of the Findings. Thank you, Flynner of the Findings, very much. And the other paper.
Yes, winner, chicken Flynner. Thank you for that handwritten note. And may I say, I particularly appreciate being labeled the best podcast in the Northwest, which is essentially saying you are the biggest catfish in the smallest trout pond. Thank you.
This is handed to me in an envelope that says, to No ID show from Sir Donald of the Firebottles, Secretary General of Greater Idaho. And Sir Donald is from Spokane Valley. And there is no note in this envelope, but there is $111.11, 111.11. That would be a row of schmeckles from Sir Donald of the Firebottles.
Nice.
And
we, man, you know he's important because he has like 12 surnames.
Now, do you know what a fire
Donald,
bottle?
I don't know who you are, but you must be rich and important. Thank you.
Do you know what a fire bottle is?
I know what a firecracker is. I know what a bottle of firewater is.
Yeah.
Is that a Molotov cocktail? Fire bottle?
Good guess. It's much more benign than that. It is. I didn't know this either. I learned it from Sir Donald. It's a vacuum tube. It's an old nickname for a vacuum tube.
Oh.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Yeah. Thank you, Sir Donald. And then another no note, and it's $50 from Reb, the Gold-digging Cowgirl, who told me that she didn't write this down in a note, and both Reb and Sir Donald have been executive producers before, so we appreciate them a lot. And Reb did tell me in person that she frequently busts out her phone while tending her land and her livestock to write notes to us, to send us messages based on the stuff she's hearing, but that she never actually hits the send button. So she's the biggest source of feedback what there never was.
I'm so curious now, man. Well, Reb, let me be the first to encourage you to hit that send button and send that incendiary, irresponsible email to your coworker or us, because I can't wait to see it.
That's what I told her too. I was like, well, don't be shy. Come on. Even if it's not even complete, I don't know. Just hit the send button. Go into your drafts. Just hit all the stuff. Hit send on all the stuff you never. I don't know. Anyway, thank you very much for
without hate mail, I wouldn't even have an email. So come on, girl, send it.
Thank you, Reb, for the $50. Very much appreciated.
Yes, thank you.
And finally, for this week, executive producer for episode 40, Josh Hoover, sent in 1, 2, 3, 4. Another nice little numerology donation. And Josh said, Prison Paul, what was the worst thing about prison? The Dementors? Sincerely, from Joshua Noel Hoover. Now, when this came in, I assumed, I was like, oh, this must be somebody who was like in prison with Paul, who like, they like, I don't know, shared his, or he was one of those guys that was sitting at the picnic table when they were discussing how great the bag of chips was that was quelling their riotous
Not all
impulses.
of my friends are from prison, Scott. Do you not know this? I do have friends from outside prison.
Just most. But then Paul was like, no, I don't think he was. And then I realized my wife was like, oh, that's an Office reference. Now I should have known that because The Office for my wife is it's like a comfort show. You know, it's something that she'll just have on in the background, like at all times. She just loves it. So I've seen every episode, and I watched The Office when it was actually on the air. You know, I would I'll date myself here a little bit, but I would TiVo it and watch it every week, even with friends. I mean, we love that show. But then I really got familiar with it once I got together with my wife because she would just watch it, just sort of all the time in the background. So I should have recognized that from the prison Mike scene of The Office where he talks. Well, let's just play a little bit of it. But here's the reference.
I'm Prison Mike.
Now, are you a The Office guy? You've made Office references on this show. How well do you know The Office?
I know The Office just well enough to be dangerous, but not well enough to be useful.
Okay, so this is Steve Carell in his purple bandana, and he's addressing the conference room, and he's getting into character so he can explain how awful prison is to all the people in the office who had been sort of thinking it sounded great. There was a new guy there that had done some time for like a white collar crime, and he was saying like, oh, it was, you get exercise and this and that. So they were saying how great prison was going to be, and of course Michael Scott took this very personally as their boss, who they're supposed to love him and hanging out with him. So why in the world would they be thinking that prison is great? So he assumes this character, this persona of Prison Mike with his purple bandana, and tries to tell him how awful prison is.
Do you really expect me to not push you up against the wall, biatch?
And, it's just gem after gem in this scene.
Hey, that's just the way we talk in the clink.
The clink.
But I am here to scare you straight.
The clink.
I am here to scare you straight! In prison, you are somebody's bitch.
So basically, every one of these is now going on the soundboard. Now, you weren't in like a federal pound me in the A prison.
In Cooney County Jail, there wasn't really any of that. They look down on that sort of behavior.
Okay, good.
Most everybody in they're not into the whole owning people or gay stuff. Everybody's kind of just trying to get through. So, in fact, I learned, speaking of the more you know, growing up as a kid, my dad used to refer to me, my brother and I, sometimes as Peckerwoods when we were acting up or being goofy or, kind of like the Hank Hill, damn it, Bobby, that boy ain't right kind of moment. And Dad would look at us and shake his head and be like, yeah, a bunch of Peckerwoods. So I grew up with that term being kind of just a fun little insult for a knucklehead, like a knucklehead. Well, I used the word in Kootenai County Jail one time, and the whole pod stopped. 18 guys. And a dude I was talking to goes, what'd you say? What did you call me? And immediately I had an idea of the fact that I was about to maybe be in big trouble. And I was like, oh, I'm Peckerwood. And they're like, yeah, we don't use that word here. Peckerwood it means like Aryan nation. It's racist. Basically it's what we refer to the Aryan guys. And none of us in here are that. I was like, oh, interesting. Didn't know that. Now I know. Thank you. Bum, 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 bum. The more you know. So I learned real quick. That's a word you don't use.
I always thought it just was a term for, like, it's what a brother would call a sort of derogatory term for a white person. Peck-a-wood. I never thought of it as a white supremacy thing. The opposite.
No, I'd never heard it in that context either myself, but apparently it is a thing, a real thing. And boy, don't use that with people if they're not that thing.
More advice from
the more you
Michael
know, everybody.
Banducci. Yeah, from Prison Paul.
From Prison Paul. Yeah, there you go.
What's the very, very worst thing about prison?
The worst thing about prison was the
food.
Was the Dementors. They were flying all over the place, and they were scary, and then they come down and they suck the soul out of your body, and it hurt.
Dementors like in Harry Potter?
So there would be the reference from executive producer Joshua Hoover.
Cooney County doesn't have the budget for that, so no, there were no Dementors.
Oh, and you, my friend, would be the belle of the ball. Don't drop the soap. Don't drop the soap.
Prison Mike, what was the food like in prison?
Gruel.
Bad.
Sandwiches.
Gruel sandwiches.
Close
gruel
enough.
omelets. Nothing but
No,
gruel.
actually, it was close enough.
Just all gruel. Okay, anyway.
Should I tell him? Should I tell him what we called those sandwiches? I should tell him.
Go right ahead.
Yeah. Horsecock sandwiches. They had a name. That's what we called them. Fake. It was like fake bologna, which, yes, I know is redundant, but I'll just let you simmer on that one.
All right. So, thus concludeth Value for Value for episode number 40 of No ID. Please remember us. All of it is at noidshow.com. You can return value by sending us messages, by sending us treasure, the portals for all of it, and signing up for the newsletter, which we do put out every week. So, if you'd like to stay up on the latest topics of that episode, of that week's show, of this program, please go to noidshow.com and check out all the different ways you can interact and otherwise return value to the show. Thank you guys very much. Very much appreciated.
Thank
It was a lot of fun hanging out with you.
Thank you, Donald. Thank you, Reb. Thank you, Flynner. Thank you, Josh.
It was a ton of fun hanging out with all you guys at the meetup. And they did ask, by the way, many of them asked where you were and how we could get you out of your castle to come to our next meetup.
Wave a horsecock sandwich in front of my face and I'll be down there in a jiffy.
All right. You have a song for second half?
I am going to come down and visit everybody at some point. It's when I finish my health, hopefully in the next 6 months, my gut will be all fixed up and my foot will be mostly fixed up. And then Hairplug Prison Paul can come out to play and tell you all the stories. I do have a song.
F yeah.
Maybe.
I've seen people in every way, shape, or form all over the world going to the bathroom.
Bad days gonna get better. Bad days gonna get better. 'Cause the rain already fell. And we already been through hell. Bad days gonna get better.
Okay, I've been down to the bottom and I've been up to the top. But I prefer the middle, cause my mind, it cannot stop thinking. My highs are highs and my lows are lows. I wish that I could find some ground to just slow down and grow. But maybe it's extremes that I need, please. And maybe it's the nature of my beast, please. I grab onto the good times and push away the bad. But holding on just uses all the energy I've had.
But I know it's hard sometimes. But I know the sun will shine. 'Cause bad days gonna get better. Bad days gonna get better. 'Cause the rain already fell. And we already been through hell. Bad days gonna get better. Bad days gonna get better. 'Cause the rain already fell. And we already been through hell. Bad days gonna get better. Bad days gonna get better. 'Cause the rain already fell. And we already been through hell. The weather ain't the same the day after it rains. It's so fresh you can feel the sunshine, heal the pain. The way that the wind blows slow through my window. The glow from the stained glass, beautiful and simple, reminds me that yes, we all just need a breath. And yes, sometimes this life can feel just like a mess. But I'm just out here living for the good days and bad. And I'ma give it everything I have. But I know it's hard sometimes. But I know the sun will shine. 'Cause bad days gonna get better. Bad days gonna get better. 'Cause the rain already fell. And we already been
Hard times come, hard times go, it'll all get better now. Freedom. Yeah.
Bad days gonna get better. Bad days, bad days, bad days. Bad days gonna get better. Bad days, bad days, bad days. 'Cause the rain already fell. And we already been through hell. Bad days gonna get better. Bad days, bad days, bad days.
If everything we do saves just one life, I'll be happy.
Okay. Second half of show. You ready? Oh, who's ready? Am I ready? Is
ready.
anybody ready for this? Is anybody
I think I was too ready and you weren't ready enough.
Oh my God. All right, I'm getting ready to save one life. Let's go. Just one life. Shut it all down.
Just one life.
Shut it down. Lock the doors. Sandbag the entrance. We're saving a life. Let's go.
Quarantine, quarantine, quarantine.
3 masks. 4. Okay.
4.
Yeah.
Just up the ante. Just keep up in the ante. All right. You know what that means. You know that sound. It's time for Scott's Shots. Scott, this topic is loosely related to the topic I usually like to cover. We're going to have some fun with it. How much purchasing power has the American dollar lost since 2020?
45%.
You sure about that?
You weren't far off. I love your pessimism. I do love your pessimism. That's just why we're friends. It actually isn't as bad as that. It's bad, but it's not as bad. It's 30%.
Okay, well,
30%.
I went down. My mind immediately was like 75%, and I was like, no, it can't be. And so that was me actually being conservative.
Yeah, well, actually, you are probably correct, because here's the thing: when I went looking for this information, the information that's out there, or the most readily available, without having to go super down the rabbit hole, is basically the information they let us have. They being the the elites,
Yeah.
the lizard people, the power that be. Like that's what the when the Federal Reserve has its reports and the Department of Commerce puts out their reports, and all of the government agencies put out their reports. Yeah, it is they. It's the fucking lizard people.
Yes,
These are the figures they put
summarily
out.
known as
The state.
The state. So your estimation of 45% is probably more accurate. And if you ask any one of us who's bought groceries anytime recently, I think we all could probably nod our heads and be like, yeah, it's got to be like 45%.
Yeah.
Technically, on paper, they say 30%, which is how you know it's more than that.
Right.
Yeah, 30% though. So in 6 years. But here's what really is wild about it is that, dude, 2020 was 6 years ago. That's it.
Yeah.
6 years.
Yes.
So
it was
in
5
less than
minutes
a
ago.
decade, we've lost 30% of our purchasing power. So what used to cost, and again, it's more than that. We know it's more than that. But what used to cost $100 in 2020 now costs, according to them, $139. It's more like $150.
Okay. Awesome. Well done, everybody. Well done. I hope you guys all enjoyed those checks into your all the free fake money in your checking accounts. Hope you enjoyed.
Wasn't that great?
Wasn't it worth it?
Turns out printing, what was it, 70%, 60 or 70% of all the money ever in circulate, like ever in the history of the country in 2020. Turns out that wasn't such a great economic policy. Actually, monetary policy is what that is. Yeah, weird, right? It also turns out when you shut down the world and you don't let people produce anything or go outside or go to a restaurant or eat or anything, and you make everybody stop, being productive. And then when you finally allow them to kind of sort of maybe be productive, well, now you have almost for all intents and purposes, an infinitely larger supply of money chasing an infinitesimally smaller supply of goods and services. Whoa. What might happen in such a scenario, Scott? Right.
Well,
three guesses. The first two don't count.
It wasn't even. It's actually you're actually understating the case. They actually valorized non-productivity. You were a hero if you weren't productive. If you hid in your basement and doom scrolled Reddit while eating Cheetos, which, by the way, that factory never shut down. But yes, it was worse. And then now, half those people are like, why is labor so hard to find? People, they don't show up for their interviews. They don't. Weren't we just hearing Steve Pegg say this the other day? Half of them don't show up for interviews, and then the half that do, half of those don't show up for their first day, and then of those, half of those quit after the first week. Gee, do you think there's any connection? But and this is not Steve knows, but for so many people never did the math on this. Like, you think there's any connection between how you behaved and how you changed people's habits and how you valorized and heroicized? I don't even know if that's a word. Non-productivity, and then cranked fake money in everyone's checking accounts for staying home. Is any of this connected at all, or there was just a virus?
Wow.
It's almost as if you disincentivize productivity, you get less productivity. It's kind of the same thing with taxes, right? When they put sin taxes on alcohol and tobacco is always the one that gets me. Cigarettes, right? They tax the shit out of cigarettes. And when you ask them about it, it's to deter people from buying cigarettes. So then immediately my next question goes, well, what's the income tax then? Just to take this a little further, how much purchasing power, Scott, have we lost since the year 2000? I was 12, by the way, in the year 2000. We're talking 26 years ago, which in some ways feels like a lifetime, but really in the scope of human history is nothing at all. The year 2000, how much purchasing power have we lost, Scott?
72%.
Man, that guy is the Redgrin Grumbolt of pretending he knows what's going on.
What? I thought we've gone over this before.
No. I mean, maybe. According to them, Scott, you are once again wrong. We have only lost 48% of our purchasing power since the year 2000. Only 48%.
Sure.
Which means, put another way, it means that things cost nearly double what they did in the year 2000. Is basically when you lose 48% of your purchasing power, it means it requires an extra 94% of the currency to buy the thing. So what was $1 in the year 2000 is now $1.94 in the year 2026. Of course, I think your number is probably closer because when they measure the CPI, you know what they leave out? They leave out things like groceries and gas because those are the two things most impacted and affected by inflation. So when you get the monthly index reports for inflation, those two things aren't counted.
Yeah, why would they be?
They say they're counting those things here in these figures because these are annual figures, but I don't know about that. Or, they shave a few percentage points here and there, and all of a sudden it's only 48% instead of your 75. So you're probably right, Scott.
I mean, you can just
but they say you're wrong.
It's like TV, commercials for Knutson Chevy in the year 2000. It was like you can get an entry level GMC Sierra, and it's $22,999, and now it's like $105K. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but only a little bit. A house is $105K, a starter house. Now it's $505K. Once again, maybe an exaggeration, but not by much. I mean, the notion that it's only double, it's bull crap. It's bull crap. What was gas? Yes. What was gas in the year 2000? $1.89 a gallon, $2.09 a gallon.
Yeah, it was sub $2.
Now it's $5, $6, $7 a gallon. It's just baloney. Everyone knows that's baloney.
Yeah, but we won that war like 30 times. We won it. We won it in like 3 days. So gas prices will come down anytime now, Scott.
Anytime.
And if in case you were wondering about why prices are so high and you were complaining about stuff, don't worry about that either because we just tariffed the shit out of Canada and Brazil. So things are going to get better.
Of course.
Don't you worry.
I can't wait.
Yeah. One last question because I just had to go further down. How much purchasing power has the U.S. dollar lost since 1913?
Once again, I feel like we've covered this, and I'm going to say it's 98%.
99%.
All right.
But I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to quibble over 1%. 99% in 113 years. Isn't that incredible?
So all. It's all.
Yeah. It's gone. And it's gone.
We have none left. We have no purchasing power.
Just giving your money to the state, and it's gone.
See you later.
The state. Yeah. I thought that was fun.
All right. Well, we're off to an uplifting start here on the second half of episode 40 of No ID. Let's cover.
Oh, that's what show title. Uplifting start.
Uplifting start. Okay. It's that versus patterns of catastrophe. Uplifting start.
Ooh.
Okay. Here is.
One definitely has a better hook, but
Here is the nuclear campus story where we're finalists. Yay!
The U.S. Department of Energy says Idaho is a finalist for a nuclear energy innovation campus, sparking conversations about the gem state's lengthy past with nuclear energy. Terrence Holton with our Boise sister station spoke with a historian to better understand why the DOE named Idaho as a finalist.
For decades, Idaho nuclear reactors both processed its own hazardous waste while also taking in waste from other nuclear power sites. This led to more than a few issues. For starters, radioactive liquid threatening the Snake River Plain aquifer, forcing gem state politicians to push for change.
Over the 70s, 80s, and 90s,
Is an aquifer and an aquifer, are those two different things?
I don't
did
know.
he just say
Should
it
we Google
differently, or am I saying it wrong as aquifer?
No. It's definitely aquifer.
Aquifer? That sounds like a weapon Austin Powers would use or something. What's an aquifer?
For starters,
Just
radioactive
probably a fancy way of saying watering something down.
For starters, radioactive liquid threatening the Snake River Plain aquifer, forcing gem state politicians to push for change.
over the 70s, 80s, and 90s, a lot of Idaho politicians, Governor Andrus, for instance, were really adamant that we shouldn't be accepting nuclear waste from other places here in Idaho. We have enough to deal with here was kind of the idea.
In 1995,
yeah, like
Governor
in and out shootouts.
Yeah,
the
really.
idea.
In 1995, Governor Phil Batt settled a federal lawsuit that ordered the U.S. Department of Energy to not ship certain types of nuclear fuel to Idaho, as well as remove man-made nuclear waste from the state.
Anytime anything nuclear happens in Idaho now, like with the lab or with waste, right, that is sort of a foundational document for like how the lab can proceed, how research can proceed.
This week, Governor Brad Little released a statement about Idaho potentially being selected as a host for a nuclear energy campus, saying, quote, "We look forward to working with the Department of Energy to continue advancing every stage of the nuclear lifestyle, strengthening our nation's energy security."
Did you catch that? The nuclear lifestyle? Now, it said that on the video, because this is TV news, on the screen, they were showing the text of Governor Perversion Little's statement, which said the nuclear life cycle. So the text on the screen said life cycle, but the newsreader said lifestyle.
We look forward to working with the Department of Energy.
I think the whatever the aquifer is up there with the nuclear lifestyle. I think the aquifer is a part of the nuclear lifestyle that he's talking about.
Nowhere.
I did look it up, by the way. There's no such thing as an aquifer. It's everything keeps pointing me to aquifer. It's like, did you mean aquifer? No, I meant aquifer.
No,
okay,
I didn't.
Did you mean aquifer? No, I meant aquifer.
Nope.
It's all just aquifer.
Nowhere can you more freely live your nuclear lifestyle than an aquifer.
We look forward to working with the Department of Energy to continue advancing every stage of the nuclear lifestyle.
By the way, the nuclear lifestyle in the running for show title.
Yes, that's a good one.
We look forward to working with the Department of Energy to continue advancing every stage of the nuclear lifestyle, strengthening our nation's energy security, creating good-paying jobs, and ensuring Idaho remains the home of America's nuclear renaissance. While Sarah is not involved in the nuclear campus project, she believes it is an attempt to move further forward with nuclear energy.
It's an earnest attempt on the part of our president's administration to speed up and grow nuclear.
The proposed campuses would, quote, support activities across the full nuclear fuel life cycle, according to the DOE.
Now, he got it right that time. That was the same word, and he just read it correctly
fuel
that
life
time.
cycle, according to the DOE, and could be used for states' power generation and advanced manufacturing. The Department of Energy said in a statement that...
Is that your dogs? Oh, okay, I was wondering if it was part of the clip.
According to the DOE.
Yeah, sorry. No, it's not a sound drop. It's my idiot dogs barking. Hold on. Somebody might be coming down my drive. Sorry, hold on.
Woof, woof, woof.
Oh. Okay, so speaking of the nuclear family lifestyle, my wife went down to Clark Fork to take the baby because he's a little fussy today, making lots of noise. So she took him down to Clark Fork so that we wouldn't have baby in the background, but she just drove back into the driveway. So now we have dogs in the background. Take your pick, dogs or babies.
Intruder. Oh, it's
yeah.
you.
And I can only put one of them in the shed, but I don't like doing that because the dogs get really hot when I put them in the shed. So
and could be
it's got to be the kid that goes in the shed.
And could be used for states' power generation and advanced manufacturing. The Department of Energy said in a statement that the campuses could attract up to $50 billion in capital investment and generate as much as $10 billion in state and local tax revenue.
I like your taxes.
Give us your money.
Give us the money. We need money.
I need money.
So who cares about the Snake River aquifer? We need money.
Fund the government.
Just so you know, let's give Sir Ducifer some context. That's Melissa Wintrow. She's in Idaho. Whatever, state reptile who just can't get enough of your taxes. That's this lady.
Fund the government.
Yeah, and then this one.
I like your taxes.
Is Lori Wolf. She works with Governor Pervert and the budget, and she just loves being a bureaucrat.
I'm happy to be a bureaucrat.
And she likes
like
your taxes. And then this one, just those two. Well, there you go.
And all of them have the IQ of a cold bowl of soup.
Let's move on here to
I'm for it. The nuclear
Are
campus.
You?
I'm
okay,
for it.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. Yeah. The future is nuclear. So all of these lefties and people who don't know anything about anything, which you don't have to be a lefty to be somebody who doesn't know anything about anything, but usually they track hand in hand, who talk about power and everything going electric. They want everything electric now. They're anti-fossil fuels and they're anti-propane and anti-natural gas, which is retarded because propane and natural gas are super clean. They're super inexpensive. They're super obtainable, and lots of things can run on them. I can understand the argument against coal to a degree. I can understand that at least a little bit more. But man, propane and natural gas, those things are bitching. I run half my house on propane. So the war against that makes no sense, but people are dumb. We can't power the civilization that people want on solar and wind. You can't do it. It's impossible. And the input required to create that infrastructure to build those pieces of equipment, I mean, just the wind farms alone, it's a net loser. It's not green. It's the opposite of green. You actually burn more fuel and you create more non-disposable stuff, creating the wind farms. And you can't dispose of the stuff. You know what you got to do? Bury it, just like nuclear waste. So if you want a world where you can plug everything in and not worry about brownouts or blackouts, and you want it to be minimal input with maximum output and about as clean as it possibly gets, it's nuclear. Nuclear is the future. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The one concern, of course, is the waste. And I guess what happens if a reactor runs into issues. But the technology that has come along is so advanced. The waste that is created is so small. The technology for storing it is so good. It's all ready to rock. The only thing holding back a nuclear future is bureaucracy, red tape, bureaucracy, and lawsuits, and ignorance. People who want what they want but are scared of nuclear because they don't know anything about it.
On all that
so I'm
said, yeah, it just sounds to me like Paul likes dirty air and dirty water. He opposes cleanliness of air and water. That's what I heard.
Yeah, actually, the water vapor that's produced from the nuclear reactors, super bad for our ozone. That water vapor, it's going to ruin everything.
Here, you know what? This is perfect. Let's cover this, speaking of water vapor and the air.
Idaho's Water Resource Board meets later today. As George Prentice reports, on one of the hottest days of the year, members will be talking about something that can only be done on some of the coldest days of the year, cloud seeding.
Cloud seeding has been happening since the night.
No, you don't swim in it. You just stand adjacent to it. Weren't you paying attention?
Oh, right. I missed that PSA, or that part of the PSA.
Seeding.
Cloud seeding has been happening since the 1940s. Airplanes or cannons shooting silver iodide, acetone, and liquid propane into clouds when temperatures are below freezing. Idaho Power began its own cloud seeding.
Okay, so people are cool with that, but they're scared of nuclear reactors. Just go throw that out there. Like, go ahead and spray all this stuff over our heads. But how dare you build nuclear power plants?
Chernobyl!
Okay. Idaho Power began
Also,
its
you
own
see what they did here, Scott? Since we are supposed to be breaking down the mainstream media narrative.
Oh, yeah.
Well, citizen, we've been doing this since the 40s, so there's nothing to worry about because if we've been doing it since the 40s, then it's okay. Yeah, it's basically just classic Americana. Don't worry about it. It's like a Pez dispenser, but with chemicals over your head.
Coca-Cola, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and silver iodide.
Idaho Power began its own cloud seeding in 2003. The process helps generate more snow and improves water resources in the summer.
It is something that is promoted by our farmers, our Farm Bureau, our water users, our state, our power utility companies.
That is GOP House Representative Ben Furman introducing a cloud seeding bill to the Idaho legislature this past March. Furman told lawmakers that it was time to increase transparency around cloud seeding. The bill passed through the House and Senate, but not before getting pushback from some legislators, like Clint Hostetler from Twin Falls, who think that cloud seeding shouldn't be happening at all in Idaho.
I didn't consent to this. I think most people didn't consent to this. We did not consent to be experimented on.
Today, the Water Resource Board takes up its new responsibility of tighter cloud seeding oversight, which will include more public meetings on the process. George Prentice, Boise State Public.
Yeah, what, like when they say oversight, what does it mean?
Do we hire a guy to get up in the plains with the feds and be like, okay, you better not seed this much, but you can seed this much, but not an ounce more. Like, I don't understand. What does that mean? Or you can only use this plane and not that plane, or you can only go to 20,000 feet instead of 30,000 feet. Or go seed those clouds over there, but you better not touch these clouds over here. What does that even mean? How does that work?
Well, and how long until...
Why does it all sound retarded?
How long until one of the executives of the cloud seeding company becomes the head of the oversight board that oversees the cloud seeding, and then this becomes like a revolving door between the oversight industry and the executive boards of the cloud seeding apparatus.
I can't wait for them to create another committee or a commission on this and, pay 6 people to, I guess, do oversight for cloud seeding. I don't know. The whole thing is ridiculous. I'm with Clint Hostetler on this one, though. Why are we doing it in the first place? Yeah, we didn't consent.
I think most people didn't consent to this.
I think this is soundboard material. At least this one right here is a good one.
I didn't consent to this.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, you should. That's
it doesn't
fantastic.
matter. Since when does that matter? That's so cute. How adorable.
I know. Right? I know. It is. It really is. I wish that they got as upset about, I don't know, shitty alcohol laws or shitty gambling laws or property taxes or, hey, let's just start with sales tax on groceries. Let's just start there because I didn't consent to any of those.
Well, speaking of, listen to this, consent and what people do and do not get upset over. Listen to this message. This is not about Idaho. It's about Texas from Sir Brian with an I. New THC law is in effect in Texas. Harsh penalties. 1 gram is a fine of $10,000. Penalties go up to life in prison. So everybody be careful. And he basically told Sir Ducifer to watch his back. And then Sir Ducifer was like, I don't know, what makes you think I smoke? But yeah, I mean, there it is, the land of liberty in the free state of Texas.
Wild. Just wild stuff. But we didn't consent to that either.
I didn't consent to this.
That's why it's hard to take these people seriously. Even the good ones, it is hard to take them seriously.
You want to get high?
No, I don't got an extra 10 grand in case we get caught. Here is KTVB. Here's I don't know if you remember the oh no, of course we just referenced it. You have to stand adjacent to a fountain. They love doing heat warnings when there's just completely like they're acting as if it's the middle of the Sahara and it's 187 degrees when it's like when it's 86. Listen to this from KTVB.
Idaho has reported its first heat-related deaths of the year. The Department of Health and Welfare says 3 Idahoans, all over 55, died in the past week. It comes as temperatures top 90 degrees.
90 degrees? People are dying. They're dropping dead in the streets. Birds are falling out of the sky. It's 90.
But not just any
degrees.
people, Scott. Old people, the most vulnerable amongst us, the old and the wealthy, who also all live in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's 110 right now. So what do they have that we don't?
It comes as temperatures top 90 degrees. All 3 lived in different southern Idaho communities. Health officials say those most at risk include young children, older adults, and people with underlying health conditions. They're urging Idahoans to stay hydrated, limit outdoor activity during the hottest hours, and never leave kids or pets in a parked car.
Thank you. Thanks, KTVB. I will be sure not to leave my kid in the car with the windows rolled up.
Well, but you can leave them in a hot shed up on my property.
Well, there's plenty of chicken feed, so we know they won't starve to death. A couple more for this week. You want to do the, we're kind of running over time, so we'll just do it quickly here. I'm going to skip the tax incentives. I'll sum it up in one sentence. There's a Coeur d'Alene Press article that described a building incentives where they were going to give tax breaks to the builders, and they were bewildered to learn that lower taxes equals more growth and development. Okay, that was that one. And here is
my beef with that one was it was like, well, breaking news, government with a total big old word salad says what any of us who are not economically illiterate already understand, which is lower taxes mean increased productivity. Because again, it's just, if you incentivize productivity, you get more productivity. So they admit to it, but they, instead of just going, all right, we'll just take less from everybody, they go, no, we're going to set up special economic zones. And it has to be this federal program where we pay a bunch of people to administer this program because, of course, red tape and bureaucracy. And who gets to participate in these programs? The beautiful people's clubs, those who are connected, those with the right kind of businesses in the right kind of places with the right kind of connections in politics. Special privileges for special interests in special zones where tax breaks spur economic activity. But the rest of us, get bent.
Well, if you feel like between these fires, which are really mostly Washington at this juncture, or mass shootings at burger joints, which was definitely Idaho, if all of this is if all of these patterns of catastrophe are making you feel like maybe you're less safe, well, the Idaho mainstream media is here to reassure you.
Well, Idaho just keeps on growing. More people, more traffic, more subdivisions, and depending on whom you ask, more crime. More license plates from out of state, more people moving in, and more concerns that Idaho is becoming less safe. But according to Idaho State Police's new uniform crime reporting data, the numbers do not back up that perception.
Oh, no?
In Idaho's 2 largest counties, crime actually dropped in 2025. Ada County saw an overall decrease of nearly 15%. While Canyon County reported a drop of more than 13%. Statewide, drug and narcotic offenses also fell by more than 4%. So despite Idaho's booming population,
more than 4%, which of course, if it was a narrative they weren't trying to push, it would be by less than 5%.
There's an over 95% chance that,
the data suggests the crime wave many people talk about is actually not happening.
It's in your
head. That doesn't mean every statistic, though, is heading in the right direction. Some of the state's most serious crimes increased last year, specifically crimes of homicide, arson, sexual offenses, and extortion. Those all rose in 2025. And in some rural counties,
What? Okay. We're listening. We're paying attention here, right? So it's like, okay, hey, first off, this presentation brought to you by the agencies who have a vested interest in reporting to you that crime is going down.
So wait, we have to, please forgive us for having a little bit of suspicion about how they are collecting the data in the first place. Have you changed the way you report? Have you changed what you collect? Have you changed what you classify as fill in the blank?
Yeah, that's right. Right. Shit, I just did it. Right. There are a number of ways you can make the data say kind of whatever you want, number one. But number two, you don't think that Idaho State Police has a vested interest in looking good and reporting to us, dear citizens? Don't worry. Overall, in these particular counties, crime is down.
Right.
Except for murder, arson,
right,
rape, and a few other things.
But other than that, the arrests for 1 gram of weed is way down.
More than 4% reduction in drugs.
More than 4.20%.
In some rural counties, the numbers appear quite alarming at first glance. Lewis County, for example, posted a 26% increase in crime. But that dramatic sounding jump came from an increase of just 2 reported crimes. 2. Moving from about 8 crimes per 1,000 people to just under 10. It's a reminder that percentages are rates, and they don't always tell the full story.
Wait a minute.
Whoa, wait a minute. What?
Wait a minute.
What?
Scott, this is our 40th episode, and in 40 episodes, this might be the very first time, I think it is, where we've actually heard the mainstream media stop and explain the distinction between percentages and raw numbers.
Without question, it's the first time in 40 episodes.
And the only reason they're doing it is because... Take it away, Scott.
They're trying to illustrate a point. What am I supposed to do here?
Because it fits their narrative.
Oh, okay. I thought you were looking for
the agenda they're pushing.
For a sound drop. Sorry, I didn't realize you wanted me to
suck
just
at
say
this.
words.
I put it on a tee.
God,
you're the worst. I set it up on a tee for you. All you had to do was take a swing and hit a home run. God,
I thought it was something like
the state.
But I was like, that doesn't fit there. What does he want?
What does he want? But what does it mean?
What does Prison Paul need from me now?
It's a reminder.
My God, I was trying to set you up, like a good podcast partner. But instead, you're over here just like,
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means.
It's a reminder that percentages are rates, and they don't always tell the full story, especially in Idaho's least populated
you think
counties.
Mainstream media?
The data collected from law enforcement agencies all across the state shows a reality that's a little less dramatic than the one playing out on social media. Idaho is growing again and still at a historic pace. But according to the state's own numbers, overall crime is actually falling in many places, even if the debate
So
over
we've
growth and
investigated
public
ourselves
safety
and
is
determined there is no wrongdoing.
We've done nothing wrong.
Is not slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
The one time the mainstream media is less sensational and actually parses out the data, it's to fit their own agenda. That's a good thing. If crime going down is a good thing. I'm happy for it. It's a positive thing. But cynical hair plug Prison Paul can't help but notice mainstream media only tells the truth, and I use that term loosely and with air quotes, when it's convenient to them and the people they are the mouthpieces for.
And thus summeth up No ID and what we're doing on this program, which is to deconstruct those narratives and deconstruct all these different mainstream media sources, of which there are an infinity, and just otherwise take advantage of this new and revolutionary world of independent journalism and hyperlocal coverage and voices that aren't controlled by corporate overlords or government agencies, at least not much. If you'd like to continue to be a part of what I just described, please go to noidshow.com. Remember us there, because No ID as such is a value for value show. To stay free of all that baloney, we stay a value for value show. Just contribute back value if you find our program valuable with your time, your talent, or your treasure. And we give a big hearty thank you once again to all of you producers who have helped us produce these 40 episodes. and beyond. So hopefully everything clears up here in the next a few days. It doesn't look like it's gonna, but Godspeed to everyone out there whose lives were turned upside down or you were adjacent to someone who did. And until 41 next week from Post Falls, Smoky Post Falls, I'm Scott.
And I'm Paul. Stay safe out there, everybody. And thanks for the support. Taxation is theft. I think the aqua fire is a part of the nuclear lifestyle.